Hey guys, Char5 here, and today we're doing another speed paint discussion video. This time we're covering The Nightmare Before... Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, which is an incredibly long title. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first... Well, no, because the Batman Arkham series would count, but otherwise this is the first time I'm doing a licensed character, I think at least. I hope I haven't done any other ones, other than Batman. But those are just really good games. And Oogie's Revenge, I'm not entirely sure where it falls on the spectrum, because I've heard people, say that it's a childhood game for them. Others say that it's really not that good. That it's just average. And I as I said in the Mega Man X video, X7 to be more specific, none of the games in December that I released in December 2017, I've played, as of these recordings at least. So I don't really know if it was good or not. I've heard that it's kind of like a God of War sort of Devil May Cry clone, and while I own God of War, the original one, well, quote-unquote the original one, I have the HD collection. I have yet to play it, but I am looking forward to playing that. But I've also heard that it's very similar to Devil May Cry, and I've only ever played the first game. And I can tell you, I really don't like Devil May Cry. So far, I'm not gonna say, oh, I hate Devil May Cry as a series. No, I don't like the first game. I've yet to play the second and third games. Those are the ones I own, because I have the HD collection of that, too. So I'm not really looking forward to playing those, but I do want to, just to see if it gets better or not. But we're not here to talk about Devil May Cry. We're here to talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas, which the reason I chose it was because, obviously, despite the fact that it is Halloween-themed, mostly, it also has Christmas involved in it, and there weren't many Christmas-themed games that, out there that I could have covered. One thing that someone did tell me was that I could have covered the Polar Express, and I felt like such a fool afterwards, because I was like, oh yeah, there was a Polar Express video game, and that's licensed too. There's no reason I couldn't have done that. And I mean, I guess Kingdom Hearts counts as well as, a licensed game property, but I mean, whatever. That's Square Enix, it doesn't feel the same. But when it comes to The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it feels so strange because I've always seen it more as a film than like a video game. And a lot of people didn't even know that there was a Nightmare Before Christmas game. That just goes to show. I didn't... Much like Mega Man X7, it was a movie I didn't really grow up on. I knew of its existence, and my cousins would watch it a lot, but I never really had any interest in The Nightmare Before Christmas. And that wasn't until I was older and I was more interested in animation and stuff like that. And in Mexico, this movie's huge. Everyone loves this film, and I think it's so strange because this movie is way older than me. And when I was a kid, I don't remember it being talked about so much. And in Mexico, yeah, the movie was talked about constantly. It's a kind of a classic down there. And nowadays, it's even a classic here with a lot of memorabilia, and like it just had a resurgence, and it came on so strong. Like you go to Hot Topic or any like of those stores, and you just see all this The Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, and it's like, why? When did this happen? And I'm not saying it's undeserved. It's so weird to see how things like that resurge, right? Like for the longest time, no one talked about the movie, no one cared about the movie that much, and all of a sudden everyone loves it, and everyone's wearing the backpacks or wearing the hats or the hoodies, whatever. And what do I think of the movie? I think it's a good film. Not like one of my favorites by any means, but I do think it's a cute film. It's one of those movies that I always forget about the second half of it. I just don't think it's all too memorable. I love Oogie Boogie as a villain, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, I mean, what motive does he really have to be a bad guy? I mean, if anything, shouldn't they all kind of be bad guys? In a way, I see him a lot like Jack, who is a very, very lovable character. I think Jack is the best thing about the films. Sally's really good too, but I think Jack Skellington's, jovial pursuit of something new while, you know, done before in a lot of other movies, is something that you can't look past when it comes to the charm of the character. He's just like, I'm sick of I'm sick of Halloween. I need to find something else because I'm bored. You know, like, I need to find something more exciting. And he stumbles upon Christmas. It's just like, oh my God, there's a world beyond Halloween. This is amazing. And just how excited he gets and how upset he gets when people don't get it, because they're just like, oh, is it scary? He's like, no, it's not. Why does it have to be scary? It's like, it's cool and it's nice and it's warm and it doesn't have to be scary. Why are you all, oh God. You really, I think you do feel for Jack when you see those scenes, and he's just like, oh man. And you feel for Sally too, because all she wants to do is prove to Jack that, like, you don't need to change who you are. And I feel like every single Nightmare Before Christmas, anything, like the world in Kingdom Hearts, even this game, you know, like they have that sort of message, which is, you know, sometimes things don't need change. Sometimes, you know, because in a lot of movies you see, oh, we need to change, or like we're looking for something more in life, and at the end, you know, everyone gets the happy ending, and yeah, their life has changed for the better. They get what they want. And in this movie, it's kind of the opposite of that, where it's like, what you wanted, you already had all along. And I mean, that sounds cliche, but they handle it in a really nice way. I think they handle it in a way where it's like, well, you wanted something more, but in reality, once you realize what that something more is, you realize that while it's fun, you don't really need it. You know, you have something just as fun back home, and people need you back home. So I think that's kind of a nice message to give, even if it's more of an implicit message than anything. It's not really all too obvious what the message is, but I do enjoy the movie. The stuff with Oogie Boogie and Santa Claus, you know what? For some reason, that's really not all too memorable for me. But again, I do like the way they portray Santa Claus. The concept of having, like, of personifying these. I mean, it's not anything new. The idea of personifying holidays, but that they each have their own, like, dedicated towns. You know, Christmas Town, Halloween Town, where all they do is plan what they're gonna do next year. It's kind of sad in a way, but I think it's also super interesting. And how the real world intersects, that one's got me. I have no idea how this science, I guess, quote unquote, behind that works. Because yeah, how do you go from Christmas Town to the real world, and how do you go from Halloween Town to the hinterlands where, you know, all the doors are, and what? You know, but it's something you don't try to think about too often. That is kind of a really big, not issue, but, you know, a big question that I think is overlooked a little bit, but it's nothing huge. As for the designs, I do love how simple they are. For those of you that don't know or might not have noticed, I did draw Sally and Jack for Creepy Month this year, and I'd never drawn them before, so this is my second time drawing the characters, and my first time drawing Oogie Boogie, but Oogie Boogie's literally just like a sack. He's just a brown sack, so, like, there's really not much to add to him, other than, like, the creepy face. And yeah, Jack Skellington is a really simple design, you know, just a circle head and a neck. I think I made his neck a little bit too thick in this drawing, but, you know, whatever. And, you know, Sally is, I think, the most interesting design, because she's kind of like a Frankenstein-ish ragdoll monster, sort of, in a way. And just the way that, for some reason, I find drawing Stitches really fun, really nice. Well, nice, but you know what I mean. Her hair was really fun to draw in this. I was actually drawing this during a stream, and just a lot of it was really fun to draw again, especially since I wasn't drawing her whole body this time. I was just drawing her face. But I do think I liked how her face came out more in the Inktober drawing than in this one, because in this one it's just kind of strange. Everyone was commenting on how it's like, oh, when you're thinking about what to do with Dr. Finkelstein next, and I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of what it is. Another thing that I kind of noticed from a lot of these, like, derivative The Nightmare Before Christmas works, like video games and sequels and stuff, Sally has like a kind of a good relationship with Dr. Finkelstein, which she does not in the movie. In the movie, she's constantly trying to kill him. But like in this game, she's like, you have to rescue him because he's the key to all this. He's, you know, we have to rescue him. Is like, why do you even care? Weren't you trying to like kill him the whole time? But yeah, the game serves as sort of a sequel to the film, which now that I think about it, if it's a sequel, where's the hot girl, quote unquote hot girl, that Dr. Finkelstein made to be his new assistant? Where's she? She's nowhere to be seen. But yeah, Halloween Town actually is pretty barren. You only see like a few characters from the opening sequence, and even during the opening sequence, like they reprise some of the songs, and you never get to see a lot of the characters. Like I think you may at some point see the witches, but you see like the little fat kid. I don't even remember if Igor was a thing in the movie. He might have been. The clown with the tearaway face, you know, the mayor, the vampires, the hanging tree. And you get to see these characters, but like other than that, you don't get to see a lot of characters from the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. And that is kind of strange that they only stuck with a few characters. They stuck with the most memorable ones, I'm sure. But yeah. I really wish I could comment on more on the game, but I really did like how this piece came out particularly. I like the compositing of it, even though I do think it's very heavy compositing. This is the final result. It's very orange, but I think it goes in line with the background. It has the blues, the grays, the oranges, and that all just comes together really, really nicely. I like how this one came out. But yeah, if you haven't yet, go see the Everything Wrong with the Nightmare Before Christmas video I did. Very festive, very festive. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe and stay awesome. This is Char5, signing off.